Hi, I'm Dartwork, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build your very own Recreator MK5 out of an ENDER 3 Pro. Now there's a lot of parts you need to 3D print for this project, but it's definitely worth it in the end. There's also a couple of parts that I redesigned and reprinted in order for the machine to work more efficiently in my opinion. But back to these parts in a little. Let's talk about the ENDER 3 and the parts we're going to use to build our Recreator. Okay, so today we'll be using our V-slot rails that run vertical on the 3D printer, our LCD screen, the 8mm M4 screws and the T-nuts, which you'll need to order more of, the 4240 stepper motor. We're going to need 2 of the 3D printer's rubber wheels, the hot end and the heating block with the attached cord, as well as the hot end shield, the power source, and the motherboard. First, to remove our 2 V-slot rails, we need to remove the 4 screws that connect through the top bar on the ENDER 3. Next, unscrew the 2 screws that mount the power supply on the right vertical railing. After removing those screws, you should be easily able to slide the rail up and off the vertical axis of both V-slot rails. Once this is complete, we need to remove the shield cover from the fan and the heat block. Also remove the fan inside of the heat block, which we won't be using. We will be using the second fan attached to the side of the heat block shield. We'll be removing the 2 screws that attach our red metal heatsink and hot end to this metal plate. To separate the heating block from the heat sink, you need to remove the 2 screws on both sides of the hot end. Before you can detach the heating block from the heat sink, there's one more screw directly in the middle of the heat sink at the very bottom. You need to take this out so you can separate the 2. We'll be using a 1/8 to 1/2 stepless drill bit to bore out our heat sink. Be very careful doing this, you don't want to damage the piece if you drill too much. The next thing we need to do is drill out our 0.3 nozzle with the 1/16 drill bit. The ENDER 3 stock nozzle should be 0.3, and make sure once you drill the hole that the drill can easily slide in and out. It's important that way the plastic will easily pass through the nozzle. Next, we're going to unscrew the 2 screws that hold part of the motherboard housing together, right next to where our SD slot is. We'll detach the 2 screws that hold the LCD screen to the ENDER 3. Be aware that after you remove these 2 initial screws from the plate, you'll need to remove 4 other screws that are on the back of the circuit board for the LCD. We're going to flip the ENDER 3 on its side, and we'll remove the 4 screws that are still holding the V-slot rails in place. After the V-slot railing has been removed, we'll be taking the last screws off the housing so we can reveal the motherboard and fully pull it out of its casing. Before unplugging all the connectors from the motherboard, you may want to take a picture so you remember where everything needs to be plugged back into, but I will show a diagram of where everything needs to go later on in this video. Congratulations, if you made it this far, you're ready to start building your Recreator. As I said earlier in this project, there's a lot of pieces you need to 3D print, but there's a couple that I redesigned for functionality purposes, and I'll show you what those are, but let's get straight into it with our first part. So the first part we're going to work with is our plastic heater block plate, which will be attaching to the metal heat block plate that we removed off our ENDER 3. First, you must remove the screws and the rubber wheels that are attached to the metal heat plate. Once that is done, we'll be using the same screws and nuts to connect the metal heat plate to the plastic heat plate. Up next is our cooling fan plate, And if you recall earlier, we removed the two fans from the heat block shield. Well, we're going to be using the side fan that we removed and its 4 screws to reattach to this plastic plate. Now what this fan is going to do is cool the recycled bottle strands as it comes out of the nozzle. Once your fan is attached, we're going to screw in 2 of the screws with their T-nuts, but do not tighten them all the way as they'll be adjusted once we slide these onto the railing of our machine. Okay, up next we have our handles. Now we're going to take our first one, and what's going to happen is this is going to attach to the 2 vertical V-slot rails that we detached from our 3D printer earlier. Make sure you groove the handle perfectly into the top of the 2 V-rail slots. And we're going to use the screws from when we detached these 2 vertical rails to screw the handles into place. Moving on to the power supply, we're going to disconnect our power socket. Now that requires us removing the N, the L, and the ground wire, or the red, black, and the yellow wire. We'll be reconnecting these wires when the motherboard is in place and ready to go on our Recreator. Next, we're moving on to our 2 power supply brackets. These can both be slid onto each end of the power supply and screwed on with some of the screws that we took off the Ender 3. If you have a larger power supply, which mine is the original from the Ender 3, there is a large power supply bracket included in the kit. These are the slim ones. Once your 2 brackets are secured on your power supply, we're going to have to slide these in the grooves of the V-slot railing that we earlier attached the handle to. Expect some resistance while trying to get your power supply slid all the way up this V-slot railing, but just know it's secure, and we'll have to adjust later when we slide other parts of the machine up the V-slot railing as well. Next we have our legs. Our middle leg, our left leg, and our right leg. The middle leg is the square plastic piece that's just completely hollowed out. The right and the left will be the other 2 that are honeycombed. So we're going to get 2 screws and put them in these holes of the middle leg, so where at the end as they protrude we can connect 2 T-nuts, but do not tighten them all the way. We're going to fit it into the V-slot rail. Now we want to make sure it's close to the power supply, as close as possible, but leave a little gap for some wires that may come from the motherboard that need to protrude through. Don't worry too much about the right and left leg right now. They'll be attached after the motherboard and a couple other components we still need. Okay, up next is the right side case, which holds our LCD screen. So now we're going to be reattaching our power socket on the back of this case. We're going to use the screws that we unscrewed it with to reattach it. There's 2 rectangular slots. The bottom is for your power socket and the top will be for where we insert our memory card into the motherboard once the machine is fully put together. Okay, let's move on to our LCD mount and the Ender 3 faceplate. Our LCD faceplate, the thinner piece, can be easily glued to our LCD mount. Just make sure it's aligned perfectly. Then we're going to use the same screws that we used to demount our LCD screen from our Ender 3 to mount it back onto the LCD mount. After you attach your LCD to the LCD mount, we're going to attach this whole thing to the right side case, which holds the LCD. You're going to need 4 M3 30mm screws to mount our LCD screen. Let's move on to our motherboard mount. Be sure to line the motherboard screw holes up with the screw holes on the motherboard mount, and we're going to be reusing the same screws we unscrewed the motherboard from its housing with to reattach it. Just a side note, the Ender 3 text should be facing the power supply. Make sure it's flipped before you install it. At the time of this recording, I didn't realize it was backwards. Be sure to push the motherboard mount all the way up to the middle leg, and then we'll tighten all 4 screws. Also, if you haven't already, you can reconnect the power cord from the motherboard to the power supply. Make sure the cord is fed directly through the middle leg. Next, let's install our right leg, which we're going to use 2 M4 screws and 2 T-nuts. We'll slide the leg with the T-nuts into the grooves on the V-slot railing, then make sure to tighten the 2 screws. This same process will be repeated with the left leg on the other end of the V-slot railing. Now let's install our feet, which we have 6 of. We're going to screw 2 of these feet on each of the legs with M4 30mm screws. At this point, your Recreator should be looking something like this. Next, we have our back motor mount. Be sure to line the screw holes of the stepper motor with the holes on the stepper motor mount. To install our 4240 stepper motor, we're going to need 4 M3 10mm screws. After you've completed all this, be sure to plug the stepper motor wire back into the stepper motor, as we'll be feeding it through the machine to connect to our motherboard. Before reconnecting our hot-end wires to the motherboard, I realized the power socket wires were a little too short to reconnect to the power supply once closing everything up. So I had to solder some extra 16 gauge wire on here just to extend the reach. You may or may not have to do that depending on how old your Ender 3 is and how long these wires are in your machine. If you made it this far, we're now going to feed the wires from the hot end back through the space we left between the middle leg and our power supply. As soon as you have these wires fed through, we're going to start plugging back in our hot end wires into the motherboard. So here's an image of our motherboard for this Recreator, which is the original Ender 3 motherboard. So what we're going to be doing is taking the cables from our hot end, which all still should be labeled. When you unplug them, you may have noticed that, or maybe not, but we're going to be plugging those back in, and I've highlighted in yellow the cords that we're going to need to plug back in. So the power supply is definitely going to be one, the fan, our nozzle, one of our controllable fans, our nozzle thermistor, the LCD display, and our extruder motor, which is also labeled. Take your time and make sure each cord is plugged or screwed back in its appropriate place snug. Don't forget to feed your stepper motor cords through the same middle area that we fed our hot end cords through and plug it into its socket. Once we screw on our right side case that holds our LCD, we won't have access to the motherboard anymore other than for the mini USB and for our SD card slot. Okay, once that's done, we're going to go ahead and start closing this up. We're going to take our right side case, the case with the LCD, and we're going to flip it upside down, align it with the legs. If you have to remove them, go ahead and remove them, and you'll put them back on after we put these casings on. And you're going to use your 8mm T-nuts. We're going to connect this case from the sides into the V-slot rail. We'll need 4 screws for this. Make sure everything's aligned and secured tightly. Alright, the last parts for the bottom of this machine is going to be our middle case and our left side case, which will attach exactly the same as we just attached our right side LCD case. There's 3 variations of support handles that come in this kit. The handle that has the flat bottom is what we want to use if you want to add one more support handle to the back side of your machine. Now we're going to offset the screws from the middle case to the right side LCD case, and for this we're going to need 10mm M4 screws. Next, on the top, let's attach our bottle cutter base. We're going to use 2 of the M4 8mm screws and attach that to the V-slot railing on the very end above the LCD screen. Now it's time to attach the heater block plate, and we're going to be using 4 of our M4 8mm screws and our T-nuts. Be sure to slide your plate up to about where our hot end wires are coming out of our Recreator, and then tighten each screw. Okay, next let's attach our cooling fan plate, and you're going to make sure to flip this upside down. The wires should already be threaded back into the Recreator where all the other wires are protruding. Make sure the hole for our fan on the cooling plate is facing up. We're going to use 2 of our M4 8mm screws and 2 T-nuts to tighten this down to our V-slot railing. We're going to install our small gear by pressing it down over the stepper motor shaft. Let's go ahead and install our back motor mount, and that's going to go on the far back end to the left on the V-slot railing. And we're going to use 4 of our M4 screws with our T-nuts to tighten this down. Now we're going to insert our rubber wheel into the slot right next to where our motor is fitted. Firmly press the wheel until you can feel it secured in its socket. Next, to secure our medium-sized gear, we're going to use one of our 50mm M5 screws that we detached from our Ender 3. You're going to need an M5 lock nut. The grooves for this are already printed into our medium-sized gear, so once you screw in the M5 bolt, it should immediately catch the lock nut through the gear, and you should be able to tighten this completely onto the rubber wheel. These parts here, including the back motor mount, will make up the entire spool holder. So we have our giant gear, our spool core, we have the spool rod and the spool holder, the spool end cap, which I've made much larger than the original, and we have 2 spool rod nuts, which will screw as caps on both ends of our spool rod. We're going to insert the spool rod through the rear motor mount and line it up with our spool holder. Don't forget to insert our spool rod spacer over the spool rod. Once it's lined up, we're going to make sure that we screwed our spool core to our giant gear. Once that's done, the spool core can be slid over the spool rod. Be sure that the big gear is aligned properly with the medium gear. As long as your spool end cap is already screwed in, you're ready to tighten both nuts on each end of the spool rod. Then we're ready to tighten our M4 screws with our T-nuts to the V-slot railing. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to reattach our heat sink, our heat block, and nozzle to the original metal plate. Now we're going to use the same screws we used to disconnect all this to reattach it, and we're also going to reattach our hot end shield. As you're reattaching the hot end shield, make sure the wires are away from the heating block. Try to tuck away the hot end wiring so it doesn't get caught on anything and is out of the way. Then you can secure your heat block shield. Here are the parts for our tensioning rod. Now the only parts I didn't use from these pieces was the rod, because I ended up ordering an actual metal 4mm threaded rod, and the actual guide, the little piece that looks like a spindle, just because it was a little weird and it was fitted to this one. So I made a new one. It has some bearings in there to hold it up, give it a little more strength, and I screwed holes to fit our new metal rod through both of our tensioning rod, the little holders on the left and right. So I'll leave a link in the description of this video to any parts I may have changed or modified, or pieces like nuts and bolts that I may have bought to make anything you see in this video. But we're going to go ahead and place this in between the cooling fan and our spool holder. So make sure your T-nuts are already fitted with your 8mm M4 screws, and we're going to go ahead and tighten this right in between both of those things. And now our cutter guide, which sits right on top of the cutter plate. Some of you may have noticed that I already had it plugged in, but this is exactly where it goes, and this is just to guide the bottle into the hot end. And last but not least, our potentiometer knob. If you haven't screwed this on already, go ahead and do it. There is one that comes in the kit, but I have my own, so I'm going to go ahead and screw my own knob on here, and we should be good to go. So congratulations, if you made it all the way to here, your Recreator MK5 should look like this. You're ready to start extruding and pulling plastic bottle filament. I didn't get to the bottle cutter in this video, but I'll be going over that in a later video. In the meantime, I'll leave some links in the description if you want to check out how that's made and apply it to this Recreator. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. Please like and subscribe, and if you have any questions or comments about this machine, please leave them below. And in the next few videos, I'll show you how to load this machine, and we'll print a few things out of our recycled bottles.